And Mullahs, I want to ask myself a question, Mullahs, and to you too. What is the right that a minority has today? What is the right? I have to comply with all standards. I can't appoint a teacher without an appropriate qualification. All universities are entitled to appoint teachers of that qualification. Majority has that right, minority has that right. I must comply with the student-teacher ratio. My courses of study must be consistent with the university courses of study, otherwise I won't get recognition. What is it that this article gives me? Just a bit of reservation, no? Or is there anything else? Institution that I have established, I just want a little reservation. You want to deny that also? There's nothing else, there's nothing else. Now, if, Mullahs, there is undue interference in the function of my university, then it is my right to challenge it and say, you can't do it. But the administration of the university need not be in minority hands. I have the right to administer. I may say, you do it for me. It is my choice. But if you unduly interfere in my administration, I under 30 will challenge it and say, you can't do it. If it's 180 members and they are tomorrow interfering and they are packed with people, Mullahs, who are not in the I will challenge it then. It's not the other way around. Administration by outsiders doesn't destroy the minority character of my university. I can challenge it. That's not the test of Article 30. So if you look at it historically, I have nothing else. I don't have reservation. Very few people in the community are, and let's be clear on it, and these are factual matters, which it is a matter of public discourse, Mullahs. I mean, we are under Schedule Caste, Mullahs, we are even below them in terms of education. So we are not empowered enough. The only way to empower our children is through education. And in higher education. May I just tell your lordships, in all these courses in Aligarh Muslim University, like MD courses, MS courses, engineering courses, the minority students are not around. Most of them are majority. Why? Because they have not been empowered from school. The only places where they are in majority is theology, religion, because the majority community doesn't want to be part of that. So one, we are not empowered. Two, we want to be empowered. The only way to empower ourselves is to allow us these universities. Give us that right. Give us the right to be called a university. Allow the Muslim community students to get a higher degree. Let them get jobs. And you say, no, this is not minority. Why? Because you have been recognized by statute. That's Basha, Mullahs. So then the question that arises is, if the grant of the status or recognition of a degree is not the indicia of establishment, what is the indicia of establishment? Then you come to that question. And Mullahs, when the Central Legislative Council, Mullahs, when this university was set up at that time, there were certain debates that took place. Would my lords be kind enough to turn to that? I have the choice to establish. I have the choice to administer.
No, if you don't have the choice to establish or the choice to administer, it says all minorities, whether religious or linguistic, will be entitled to establish and administer educational institutions of their choice.
Yeah.
of their choice qualifies education institutions.
Yes.
So you can set up and administer educational institutions of your choice.
Yes.
Now, once the choice in setting up the education institution is recognized, once the choice where the education institution is recognized,
Yes.
the choice is yours as a
Yes.
minority. You have to establish it yourself if you have to get the benefit of Article 30.
Yes.
If someone else wants to administer your institution, you can challenge that provision.
That's what I'm saying, Manoj.
But to the extent to which you want to cede the right of administration to others, is your choice again.
Again, my choice. That's what I said.
That's what your argument is, that you are not compelled
Yes.
at the cost of your minority status to be required to administer it 100% yourself.
That's right. Manoj, therefore, Manoj, I can establish an institution of my choice and I can administer to the extent that I want. It's my choice. It's as simple as that, Manoj, in very simple terms. Why, Manoj? Because what your lordships have held right from Arti Kerala, right to 3MI, that the government cannot interfere in your administration to the extent that it whittles down or destroys the right under 30. Therefore, it's the non-interference which is protected by virtue of the fact that I'm granted the right to administer. I hope I made myself clear. I have the right to administer, Manoj. Now, that right is mine. If you say, for example, now...
But can you say, Mr. Sibal, that I have a right, I have a choice to establish?
Yes.
Instead of establishing it myself, I will delegate the power to establish to someone else.
No.
You can't do that.
No,
right?
of course I can't do that, Manoj. I can't.
You have to establish it yourself.
That's right. And I am right to administer it also. But if supposing government says, look, in your select committee, we will have a nominee of the UGC.
You can challenge that.
I can challenge that, but I can also accept it. Oh, it doesn't matter. I can also accept it. Now, if I accept it, doesn't mean that I've given up my right, that I'm not administering it. That's how, ultimately, Maharaj, everything else is controlled. There's nothing left, Maharaj. So what is given to the majority community under 19G, right, is regulated. What is given to the minority community is also regulated. And it's regulated under the same statute. So there's no difference. I don't get a higher right. They don't get any superior right. So what is the right under 30 that is left? What is left is just some reservation. Why? Because my community is not educated enough. Now they say, no. You are an institution of national importance, so you've lost that right. Well, it would be bizarre. I mean, you will destroy the very conscience of Article 30, Malaz, the very leitmotif of that article. Then you might as well get rid of 30. Then why have 30 at all?
The only thing which we'll have to consider is this, that at the birth of the Constitution itself, we are now not looking into, the broader aspects of the right of a minority to establish and administer. At the birth of the Constitution, Aligarh Muslim University was referred to EO nominee. There are only two institutions which are referred to EO nominee.
Yes.
Banaras Hindu University and Aligarh Muslim University. Once these are recognized EO nominee in entry 63 of list 1,
correct,
and placed at par with institutions of national importance, as it calls.
Fair enough. We get some funding, Madhur, that's all. You got some extra funding. Please, you point out what is that everything. You're already trying to take everything from us. What do we get? Some extra funding as institutions of national. What of the IITs are all institutions of national importance under 64. What do they get, Madhur? The funding. Madhur, let's go back a little. If you look at the development of education in India as opposed to other parts of the world, Malaj, take, for example, Stanford. Stanford was set up by a magnate, Malaj, who used to run locomotives. He made billions of rupees, of dollars, mullahs. And his son died, so he set up Stanford University. There was no regulation of Stanford University. It grew, mullahs, started awarding degrees. Yale was set up by Puritans. 500 Puritans, mullahs, who were anti-Anglican. The Anglican Church, mullahs, came and set up the university, gave its own degree. Harvard was set up by 1,700 Puritans. Cambridge, mullahs, how was Cambridge set up, mullahs? What happened was at Oxford, two people were convicted, which the Cambridge scholars thought were innocent. And the king supported that, their conviction and their death sentence. They were hanged. So, mullahs, the scholars, about 60, 70 scholars ran to Cambridge and set up Cambridge University, gave their own degrees. We are regulated. We are regulated. Why? Because we don't have the wherewithal to set up a university. The minorities, the Dalits, the scheduled castes, the scheduled tribes, the backward, very few of them have the capacity to set up a university. We're a poor nation, mullahs. Today, our per capita income is $2,000 per person, which is what? 230 rupees per month. That's a per capita. 800 million people are earning 5,000 rupees a month. Where are you going to get universities? And whatever little we have, you want to take that away also. Let's look at the context in which all this is being done. So it's all niceties of law are fine, mullahs, but what's the heart of the matter? Heart of the matter is the only thing we get is a bit of reservation. You want to take that away also. By some strange logic, sophistry.